Creating a random password generator is an excellent beginners-friendly project that can be useful in a real-life application. So the passwords are vital for what securing accounts and a strong random password to enhance the security significance. So standing in front of you is a password generator that we are going to be designing. This password generator will have set the password length. Password generator will have already designed everything like this. It's a JavaScript project. A project we are going to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I want to be able to you to understand how JavaScript bring to life the applications that we build. So we are setting a minimum length as 12 for the length that is going to be at as in when all the time I've kept this as when you open this particular application, this length should always be 12. Then you can be able to increase and you can be able to reduce the length of the password based on your what you want. And also we have set also some constraints here that you should be able to know how to these constraints and for what in case we want to like include uppercase letters so you can check whatever you want to check there. The password should include uppercase letter, include numbers and include what special characters, and then you can click on generate. We have a generate button here and a reset button, and we have an input field here where it's going to display the display for us whatever the password is going to generate. For example, if I press here generate passwords based on the character, the number of length I've given is going to generate a 12 length password based on whatever I've selected here. And now, whenever, even if you've selected all the time you're clicking, the password will always be different. It's generating different password randomly. It's randomly generating password based on your criteria. Same as I can see, remove uncheck. I don't want uppercase letters in my password. So I'm clicking on generate. It's going to keep generating the password for us. But whatever I want it to do, include or not include, is going to generate as you're pressing generate different passwords you choose. And if you don't want, you can reset it. And when we say it clears the field here, and then you can change. Let's say I want it to be 15 character letter length. The length will be 15 letters. And I don't want to include special characters. I want all uppercase case and numbers, generate password. So I'm going to have this. You see, and you want to generate any different kind of password is going to give you. So this is how you can select whatever you want here, or you include all of them and you click generate. It's going to generate based on the length you've given, is generating that length, and it's going to give you. So, and then if you're done, you don't want this, you can just click clear screen and you can change and go. So now let's try to understand the code on how to develop. Let's try to build the same application and see how we can get it. So now the first thing we are going to be seeing here is the HTML. But the HTML gives the structure of the application. So what we need to do now, we need to use the HTML, and what we're going to do with this HTML is this. For this password generator application I want to create to let the users to be able to generate their password randomly, we are going to define the password length. That is the first thing that we are doing, defining the length of the password. Then after we are going to include what includes the uppercase and the lowercase. So we are so this is the div class. I'm using the div here to define. So what we do, we're going to include the uppercase and the lowercase numbers and special characters, and then we're going to generate a password based on the selected criteria that the user is going to select. And also we can be able to do what to reset it. So we set the input field to the default. So the code represents the structure of a simple password generator application and include what the input field that we are going to be given, the input fields that we are going to be given for customization, customizing the password length, and also to do what the character positioning, and along with the buttons to generate what, and we set a password that is going to be displayed. That is what this HTML code is just all about, for us to be able to see how it works. Because it's going to, for example, we are going to have the div, this div here with the class container, with this div here that we are having with this class container, organizes the user's interface components. That is what it does. But we use the div tag to be able to organize the user face in a component. And then we're also having what, and there I'm just setting now it's just the heading of that particular container, which is a password generator. Then the label I'm giving is the password length. That's the label I'm given there. So we are having the input here. This input tag that we are having all through inside here, 1, 2, 3, these input tags. The input tags that we are having here, we want to do what the element, this input element captures what the input element is going to capture the user's preference for the password length. character and type. The first one is going to be for the password length. That one, that the minimum should be 6 and the maximum that is going to stand there, that we are going to see the value, the number we are going to be seeing whenever we open that particular application is going to give us as 12. And it's also going to capture us for what? For the uppercase. For the upper, which is going to use, we're going to be using the word, the checkbox. The checkbox, the type is going to be a checkbox that we're going to check to know that is what check, to check that uppercase that is going to include uppercase letters. And then also we are going to be using it for what? For the norms, that the ID by the norms to check. It's also a checkbox. And also for what? And also for special characters that we are going to be using it also, so that the user can have the ability to check the ones that he or she want, or you want to check all of them to include in your password, so that it should be able to generate that particular password based on whatever we want it to do. Now, the next thing we are going to be having there is the buttons. These buttons with to trigger the password to generate and reset the function. That is what he has to do, to trigger the password to generate and reset the function to generate and reset the function. That is what these buttons are going to do. So we say on click, it should be able to generate the password. On click, we can also have for the reset, because we have for two buttons there, right? And then also we finally come now to the output class. That output class, which is the diff with the ID that is output, which is to display the generated password. It's going to display, so your password will appear here, means that the generated password is what this is going to generate. It's going to display for all the generated password inside the body. So let's run this and see. We are just running, we are just trying to produce whatever I showed from the beginning. Let's run to see now how it looks. It looks good. So this is what it looks. This is the structure of it that we have produced. Now let's try to add some styling to it to make it to look beautiful. We want to style it using now the CSS to be able to style it, because with CSS we can be able to do what? Style this form to look beautiful. Now let's try to. So to add the style, let me add the style. I'm going to add in the head section also. So I'm just going to paste the code that I've already written. I'm explaining the code, the style. I've added in the, so this is the internal CSS. So that I've just said to use internal CSS in this. So now if we look here inside now, for the style, for the body, I want to style, how do I want the body to look like? I'm styling the body. I say for the body, I want to give these attributes and the values. I'm setting this, the background, everything. This is the style I'm giving for the body. And then coming now for the container class. The container class, this is the style that I'm given for it. This is the attribute I'm given with the values. I'm setting it as this. That is what I'm setting, because the CSS is going to style the simple calculator password generator interface. So it's going to set a vibrant gradient background for your page, to center the content. That is why you see I'm given like text align, all those things. I'm putting center, all those things to make it to look beautiful, because I want it to look. And then also when I'm using the word, I'm using the flex box. When I say I want it to be flexible, coming to what I'm having here, I want to work with it to make it to be flexible. You're using the flex box to make it to be flexible for us to walk through it together to see how I want it to look. This is it here, the display that I want it to be flexible. You get it? And then now, the next thing that we're going to see also to be able to applies for the transparent word and what modern look to the container with a subtitle shadow. That is what I'm trying to do. So with this container now, that is what I want to do to style even the container. You see, I'm using that. And then also for the container, for the H1, that H1 that we had, the H1, this H1. So I want this H1 now here, inside here, that I'm trying to style it for inside this container, because it's a class container that we are having this. All these things are in the class container, right? So I'm trying to like style them now to give the styles that I want them to, how I want it to look and how it should be able to look and give us the feel that we want to get, isn't it? That is just what we want to do. So for that, what am I saying? So in that body tag, I want to style the page with a gradient background. For this, I'm styling the page with a gradient background and centers the content. So I'm putting the content to be center. That is what I've just said. The item should be in the center. And then also for the container for this style, what is that I'm doing here? So I've explained before. So I'm just going to throw more light. I just want the style to style the password to generate the box with pattern. That is it, to generate a box with a pattern. And then also the shadow that I'm given to it. I'm given the shadow and rounded corners that I'm giving to it. Then also coming out to this container that we are having here, just to so for the H1, I'm styling this particular one for the H1, and coming to the container for the input. For all the inputs, the input type that is normal, I'm passing these particular attributes and the values to it. And then for the class container, again for the input that is the type checked. For the ones that are having the type check box, I'm giving this. This is the style I'm giving them. The margin I'm giving right, and the pixel I'm specifying. And then for the output, I'm setting the output for the class. For the class output, I'm setting a word. I'm setting the style as a password display area for what? Password display area to clarify, and for the what? For the emphasis I'm laying on it, I'm setting all these attributes to it. And with the attribute, these attributes I'm setting to it that I'm having here, the attribute I'm having here, then coming out to the button. The buttons, this is what the attributes I'm giving at their values, that I'm setting this attribute and the values of this particular button, so that it should be able to do what? It should be able to define the appearance and hover over effect for the buttons. You get it? I'm setting this to it. So I'm not going to be explaining these things because we all know all these things, right? I'm just telling you you can change and manipulate the way you want. And guys, you don't need to worry too much about the code, because the code is going to be in the description. You just need to do what? If you have not liked this video from now, as I'm working from now up to now, you have not liked the video, you're watching it, please remember to click the like button. And also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel and click more to look in the description below. You're going to see the link that you're going to be able to download all these codes and be able to work with and practice. Okay. And then also it's going to link you to my GitHub account that is going to help you to download this and practice with them. All the projects you're going to see there for you to practice. These are JavaScript projects to help you to build your skills in JavaScript. Okay. Then also, some of the buttons, this is what I'm giving. And then for the button hover, I'm giving the background as this. And I'm ending the style. Now, let's try now to do what? Let's try now to run this code and to run the project again and see how it looks like. So you see now, look at how it is looking. All the effect and everything we gave, that I said I want this to appear like this, given, and then the password length automatically will display on the screen. It should be like this, but also we gave you can increment and you can decrement it based on how you want your length of your password. But automatically, if you reset everything, automatically from the beginning, everything is going to be like this. But now we've not put anything JavaScript, so the buttons and this are not working. So all these things are not working because you see, but we can have this as a set of it that should display how we can be able to check. The user can check which ones he or she wants to be able to be included in the password. How you want your password, I want it to be included in your password. It depends on you on how you want to lay them out. So for now, you see, guys, well, I've not included JavaScript. So now we are going to include the JavaScript because the JavaScript code is going to define the function to generate this particular word, random password. Now we see everything I'm clicking, nothing is going. Apart from these ones that we know, it's just normal things that we've just set them there. We've just set it there. So the JavaScript now is going to be able to define, so we're going to generate the password, and we see the password here. That is what the JavaScript is going to do to bring it to life, for make it interactive so the users can be able to see it in real life. Based on the user's preferences, such as the length, the character type, based on what the character uppercase numbers, special characters, then it is going to do what is going to generate the code for us. You get it? That is what it is going to do. So now let's try to add a JavaScript to this particular thing to make it now to come to life. Let's try. So guys, I'm just going to also add the script tag. I already have the script that I've already prepared. So I'm just going to come now inside the body. I'm just going to include the script there. This is the script that we have prepared, the JavaScript. So the script tag, the script that I'm adding here. So inside the body, I just came after the default we've ended for the class. I just added the script. So in this script now, look at what I'm going to do. In this example, now the gen password, this is the function, and this gen pass is the function name. In this gen pass is going to generate a random password based on what? Based on these parameters. So I've said based on the length, uppercase letters, the numbers, and the special characters. These are these are what the parameters I've specified here that you should be able to generate. So based on the selected length, the character type, it's going to generate. So what happened now? So means that I'm specifying, I'm just declaring some variables here, that this variable The const, this is a const keyword that's to show they are constants. So the lowercase, I'm assigning all the alphabetical letter lowercase, and also for the uppercase characters, I'm assigning also all the uppercase, and for the numbers, the numcars, I'm assigning also what all the numbers from 0 to 9, and special characters, I'm assigning these special characters to this particular variable, and then let the characters be equal to lowercase, lower. Then I'm coming here and I say, if now I'm using the conditional statements now to be able to give some conditions here. These are the conditions. If the upper class, I'm assigning the upper class, norms, and the special characters, then you should be able to pass, let the pass be equal to empty. I say, we're giving a loop here to be able to put everything here because we want it to be able to generate based on the length and everything we've given and return the pass. Now, the next one we have here is a generate function. This generate function, what is this generate function going to do here? The generate function is going to do what? It's going to fetch the user input, generate a password, and then update the display. That is what this is all about. This code is. It's going to fetch now that user input to generate a constraint, to pass int. So document the get element by the IDs to get the values, all the things you're having. The same goes for the norm, the upper, and the special. And then the pass, which is going to what? Generate a pass for the length, uppercase, norm, and special characters. And it's going to get the document of get element output is going to now pass the output now, which is the text content, which is going to pass. So you're assigning it to it. So it's going to do what? It's going to what? Get the user's input, generate the password, and update the display that we are going to be seeing. Then now the next one we are having here is a reset function. This reset function, what is it going to be doing? The reset function is going to restore the default value and clears the value, the password displayed. Meaning that all the password that is displayed based on all the criteria we have chosen here, getting the elements by the ID. So it's going to do what? It's going to reset it. When we click on the clear screen, the reset is going to clear everything and reset everything for us to be able to. Wow. Now that we are having the JavaScript, let's try now to run this particular program again and see how it looks like. From what we are having by default, let's just click on generate password. Can you see now it is alive? Like what we had from the beginning, isn't it? From the beginning, this is how our project looked like when I was explaining it. You can click on it, means that what? If I click on reset, it should reset everything back for me to select. So I can now say, okay, I don't want it to include uppercase. I want to leave it as 11 characters. But click on generate password, it's going to keep it at 11 characters only, mixing the lowercase and the special characters and the numbers. That is how it's mixing. If I include this and I generate again, now it's going to include all of them, all three of them is going to be included. So you can increase, you want to increase and generate, is going to give it to you. So you see how responsive it is now. This application, you can use it now to in any big application to put it there for users to generate their password. So guys, and you can reset it. So this is it as I explained from the beginning. This is a password generator application. This is a JavaScript project that we use to do for you to be able to learn your JavaScript, to understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Hope it is clear, guys. Enjoy it, and let's try to go on to the next one and see how beautiful it is. Guys, remember to keep a like in this video. If you have been watching up to now, you haven't liked the video, what are you waiting for? Leave a like in the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. And also click that notification bell whenever you subscribe to get yourself notified whenever we upload new videos, and keep a comment in the comment section to tell us how helpful these projects are to you to start your career as a JavaScript, to build your career in JavaScript, and also maybe to as a front-end developer. And also, guys, one thing I want you to know to do is this. For those of you who want the source code of this particular project, the source code is in the description below. So you just click the description, click on more, just look down. You're going to see a link that is going to lead you to my GitHub account. From there, you can download all these 9 projects and their source code. Okay, guys, don't forget to keep a like for this video. See you guys. Let's continue to the next project. Thank you. Project is an email validation project, and this project is how the project is going to look like, which is going to be a project that validates the product in JavaScript, aims to do what? To create an efficient system for verifying the authenticity and the format of email addresses. So this tool ensures that the data is accurate, means that the accuracy of the data reduce errors and enhance the user's experience by providing an invalid email submission. That is what it's going to do. For example, if you give an invalid email submission, it is going to be able to tell that it is not able to submit. Now let's try to see how it works. If I give an email address, let's say to submit it, just I'm giving this email address a field that is saying please enter a valid email address, meaning that until otherwise you enter a valid email address, it is not going to submit it. So now you see, it says email is valid, form submitted. That is all. This is a validation, we have constraint we put there to be able to validate your email address upon the application. So we can be able to put this in any application and work with for us to be able to validate your email address to see how it works. So what we are going to be seeing here is this, to be able to build this project, to fix everything to come out like this. So you can now submit it. We are going to be seeing, we are going to build an application that allows the users to enter an email address in an input field that we just saw here. This is the input field where it's taking the email address that we are putting. And then it's going to validate the enter email address against a regular expression. And then it's going to display an error message if the email address format is invalid, and provide a visual feedback when the email address is valid, like what we just saw. The feedback that appeared here, what we just saw. So this email validation app, we are going to be using what the HTML and the CSS alongside with the JavaScript to see how it works. So let's try to understand this particular, let's try to build this particular application and see how it goes. So now this is the skeleton of it, the HTML part of it, that I'm just given from the head section, just give the title, which is the email validation. So I'm taking the class container, where we are going to be having what? I'm specifying an H2 tag, a header tag there, what I'm saying, email validation form. So the form, because it is a form, so the ID, I'm taking an email form. Label for it, the first thing we're having there is what the email, which is enter your email address, and then then the input type is going to be text, and the ID is email, the name is email with the placeholder. The placeholder that we're having there is, you see, we have given in the format in which it should be able to be example at domain.com. So where we are having is for example at gmail.com. That is it, which is required, meaning that we have to enter that particular email address correctly, isn't it, in that format. So we are spanning the ID, which is error message, class error message. The button type is submit, which is submit. And I'm going to run it. Let's run the code and see how it looks like. So this is how it looks like, which is good, means we are having, this is a heading we are having here. This is the title of the page, of the form, of that particular page we are having. And this is the enter your name, which is the email that we've given the format that you should be able to enter the email. So you see, it's even saving this, which is the one that was wrong. So now it's gone. Then we have also the submit button, but you see, as in now, nothing is working. And also, you see, when I'm saying that I want to click inside, it's telling me, please fill. You see, situation, nothing is working because we have just given the skeleton of it, the structure of how it should look like. Now let's try to add CSS to make it beautiful before we add JavaScript. So this is the CSS script that I've just added. The style that I've added, it is a style tag, and I've given here the universal selector. I'm giving everything about the profile matching. I'm giving the matching as 0. Padding, what I'm giving here to go to put for us to be able to go with the CSS that we are adding in upon it. So we are going to be styling various sections in it in different ways, like the body, the container class also. That we are going to be adding all the information that we are going to be able to run. So what happened is this. Now you see the body, this is how I want to style the body. Now coming here to the container class, so the container center word, the forms, is center word, is center the form and applies styling for a clean and modern design. So we are going, this is how it goes with ADC. We are seeing everything. Explained this in the previous project. So this is okay with you now to understand. Now we have also for the H2 that heading, this I'm styling it. For the form itself, for the form, the display, I'm keeping as flex. The direction, it should be column. Yeah, and then we have the labels. I want to be able to style the labels like this. And then for the input, now the input field allows the users to enter to enter their email addresses, to enter the email address, whatever they want to enter without placeholder for guidance, isn't it? So all the text, you see the padding, everything, this is the styling of it that I'm given. And then the next thing is We have also for the buttons that I'm styling. This is how I want to style the buttons. These are all the things I'm given for the style. Then we have the button over, how it should look like, the color, it should go for green. And also we have the error class the error message. You see this error class? What I'm saying is that the error message spans display validation error dynamically. That is what it does. So to fix everything how it should go, and then we have the submit. For the button to know, we have the submit buttons that triggers the validation logic, right? So the CSS provides a style for responsiveness, error highlighting, and also for the hover effect, isn't it? So this is it. Let's try to run the form now and see how it comes. With the styling, everything, we see how beautiful our form is looking now. So we can see we have now gotten the output. You see, it looks like the way we started from the beginning, isn't it? So this is it. But now if you look, it does not have any effect. Just saying, please fill in. And if you give whatever you're given there to fill, so click on submit. Nothing, you see, submit, nothing is happening. You see, nothing is happening because we haven't done what? Nothing is just happening. You see, it is not reacting. The trigger is not happening because we haven't added JavaScript. So now let's try to add the JavaScript and see. So now I've just added a script. This is a script here, the JavaScript I've added here for this particular particular application. So what is this JavaScript? So the JavaScript code, this JavaScript code that we've added to the script tag I've added in the body section, handles email validation for the form submission. So it's going to check. So what it's going to do is that it's going to check what? It's going to check if the entered email matches a specific pattern and display an error message, or if error message, and if the format is incorrect. So that's why we are going to be having. If you look, whatever we are having here on the screen, we have in this particular code where you're going to see, we have the form is going to select. If you see inside here, we say what? Document.get element by ID, the email form, which is the form add listener, which is going to be the submit button. And for the function event that we are having, which is event.prevent default, isn't it? Because we are there to prevent the default, isn't it, guys? So the form is selected using the ID, and an element listener is added to the handle, which is what? The submission, right? The submit button for it that is added to it. That is added to that, isn't it? And the email pattern, what we are having. Just a minute. Let me just push this. And for the email pattern that we are having, this is the regular expression. This is a regular expression that we are having that is going to do what? Check the validity of the entered email address. And if the email address is valid, it's going to give an alert, confirmation. So if the pattern of test email address, if it is valid, then it's going to give what? It's going to give email is valid. It's going to give an alert message like what we saw. Form submitted. So document.get element by ID, we are going to reset it, isn't it? Else, it is going to block it. It's going to tell us that, and please enter a valid email address. That is what it is going to do, to tell us if it is an invalid email. So it's going to give us in that particular format to display dynamically below for us to be able to see. So now let's run the code now to see how our thing is working. Now we are having it. So if I give now this, it says what? This is the alert form. So email is valid, form submitted, which is beautiful. Click on OK, it goes. Otherwise, if in case the email is not valid, for example, instead of doing it, I just leave something that's the email. What happens is going to throw an error message. Please enter a valid email address. So that is it, guys. So this is an application that can be embedded in any of your project that you're working with to be able to validate the email address. So let's move to the next one. So the next project is the random number generator. So we are going to be able to generate random number. Yeah, what have we given? This is how this application looks like. So we've set the limit there. Whenever we open, we've set a minimum and a maximum value, and also set in the format that whenever we open this particular application, it should be able to open by default the minimum as 1 as the maximum and plus 100. And we can also have the scroll bars here. We can have to be able to do what? The arrow keys, this arrow here, to be able to scroll up and down for the limit based on what we have given. So if you want to generate any number, you click on generate. You should be able to generate a number within the range of the min and the max. So randomly, it selects a number randomly and generates it to us. You get to there, you can reset everything back. And when you reset, is click on reset, it's going to tell you click the button to generate. So you can change whatever you want to change here, or you change it, and then you can do what after changing, you can just do what you can change also here. Depending on the range in which you want to generate a number, you click automatically, it's going to generate the number for you without you stressing. So this is the application, a cool application, right? You can then be able to put inside our large projects to work with. So the random number generator, let's try to build this application from scratch to finish with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So guys, if you're watching up to now, you haven't liked the video, what are you waiting for? Click the like button, subscribe, and make sure to watch till the end. Always in a habit to watch to the end because it's so exciting. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And also, you want the source code of this particular project, link in the description below. You're going to see a link that is going to allow you to download the code. Okay. So creating a random number generator is a fun and practical project for beginners in JavaScript. So it helps you to learn how to handle users' input, generate the random values within a range, and dynamically update the user interface. So what we are going to do is that we are going to be building a user-friendly interface. That is what we are going to be building for this application that allows the users to do what? To enter a minimum value and a maximum value for range for generating a random number. So we are going to be able to do what? To generate a random number within the specific range and then be able to reset the input and the result to start afresh. Like what we just saw, right? But now we are going to build everything from afresh and then try to fix it to be able to have it out correctly. Okay, guys. So this application is going to help. It's going to have a clean interface and intuitive word control, making it easy for anyone to be able to use. That is what it is going to be. So for this random number generator that we are having, let's try now to work with it. So let's try to run the code now. This is our code. We're having what a div class, the container. We say random. This is just the heading that we've given here, number generator. The div class, the input section. For the input section, I give the label for min as minimum, the label for the type, the number, which is the ID number, which is min value, which is 1. By default, I've set it to 1. So when we open the particular application, it should be showing the min value should show 1. The input of it by default should stand at 1. And then for the label of for the max is maximum, and the input value I've given by ID for the max is 100. So then for the button, we have to generate, which is to generate the random number, and then which is going to give us the div class, which is going to hold the result. And then we see they say what? Coming out to power, I say, well, click the button to generate a new value. And then we also have for the button, which is to reset it. Let's run it now, the HTML code itself, and see how it comes. So everything is at work now, everything is is in place. This is how we want it. Now we're going to add some CSS there to style it to make it beautiful. Which is you have the style. So this is the style I'm giving it. This is the first part. Then this is for the body. This is what I'm given the attribute and the values and the colors I'm choosing there for the container. This is what I'm also given for it. And then also for that H1, that particular heading, I'm given this. I'm also styling like this for the input class section. Margin button, this is what I'm given. And for the input type number, this is what I'm given, the styling I'm given there to style it with the color I'm given. For the button pattern, for the button, all the buttons for the button, this is what I'm given there. And then also for the button hover, the color, when you hover the mouse over it, what should happen? The color should change. Button active. So this is what I'm given, the background color. I'll give it as this green. So then we have the word random number. So the random number, this ID, we have all the font sizes, everything that I'm given here, which is also beautiful for the reset. This is what I'm given as a style to it. And then for the reset hover, when you hover over it, I'm given the same color. So this is the styling we are having. Let's try to run it and see how it looks like. So everything is in place, guys. Can you see? Everything is in place. As we're giving it, but you have to understand that this does not trigger. So they don't trigger because we have not added JavaScript. So for us to make it to be responsive, we have to add JavaScript. Now this is the JavaScript code that I've just pasted. The script I've just added inside this JavaScript code. So what is going to happen? You see, we are declaring variables, the mean, the max, the generate button and the reset button. We are having all these buttons that we are going to be having, all these variables that we are using to get this. We are getting the elements by the ID. That's what we are doing. And then the next thing we are going to be doing is that we are going to be able to run the function to generate the what? The random number. So to generate a random number, we are going to go with the function, which is a function random number. So in this random number, we are going to be having where we are going to be able to do what? To be able to pass in the input for us to get the input that we are going to be working with this to work with it there for us to be able to see, because one of the things that is going to cause the users have to giving the users a choice to also do what, in as much as we have set the min range that you should be able to have and the maximum range you should be able to have when we run this particular application. So what is going to be is that we are going to be able to allow the users to be able to enter the input to set the min value and also to set the max value. That is what it should happen. They want to set the max value also, then before they go now to generate it. And then also, the next thing we are going to be seeing also is to validate the result. Because when they send it, you have to validate that result, isn't it? When you get the input from the user, you have to validate it to get the result. So what is it that we are going to do? That's why we are going to run to validate that result. We have to see how we have to give it, and also to generate a random number with a range. So to be able to generate a random number with a range that we've already set, that is with a range of the min and the max value. The next we are having is a reset. This reset reset the input and the result. So it is going to do what, to reset back, to clear the field, to reset everything to the original whenever the user is like wants to change, or you get it. So we just need to click the reset button. It's going to reset everything. And then we have also the event listener that is going to listen. This event listener is listening on the click. Once we click on it to generate the number, then it is going to now generate the new number. So no the number from the random number is going to generate a random number from the range. So let's try to run it and see how it works, to see how the JavaScript have added and see how responsive it is. So if you look at it, from there we see the arrow bars that we can scroll and then generate new number. You see generate, you see now we are having a value. For us to generate a random number, we can be able to have the value that is generated within that range, and we can reset it. When we set it, it's going to tell you click the button to generate. So if you can now change the values there, both the min value and the max value. You can change it, and then you click again on generate, and it's going to generate a new number for you to be able to use. So guys, you can see how this thing works. It's just like what we had from the beginning, isn't it? So it is in your hands now to be able to set the input of the min value and that of the max value to be able to work with it. So as I told you guys, hope this is clear and is helpful. Let's go now to continue to the next project. Project we are seeing is prime number checker. It's an application that is going to check if a number is prime number or is a non-prime number. So how to do that? You can simply type inside and put a number and check. It's going to tell you 3 is a prime number. Otherwise, you can just do what? You can just scroll and select and check. It's telling you that 4 is a non-prime number. You can use these arrow bars. You can use them to like check to know whether it's a prime number or not, or otherwise automatically also you can be able to do what? You can be able to write inside, to know inside, to write the number the same. So the project is going to allow you. So this is a good JavaScript project for beginners to help you to learn more. We are going to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, for you to be able to learn. So this prime number has been what? It has been a fundamental concept in mathematics and computer science. So in programming, checking if a number is a prime will help you all to understand the loop conditions and optimize your techniques. So what we are going to do is that we are going to be creating a simple web application where users can do what? Can input a number to check if the number is a prime or a non-prime number, as I'm showing you here. That is just how it is going to be. So the application is going to accept a number as input from the users, check whether the number is a prime or a non-prime, and display the result. Like what we are doing. So it accepts the input, which is 15. It checks if the number, if on click, if the number is prime, it is not prime, it gives. For example, another 13 is going to accept it, check. Is it 13 is a prime number. This is just how it is going to be. So let's see how we can be able to build this particular application, for it to be able to check whether a number is a prime number or it is not a prime number. And then we are going to be using what? HTML and CSS for the structuring to provide. So HTML is going to provide the structuring, everything. Let's try to understand this and see how it goes. So for this application, The first thing we are going to be doing is, for this application, we are going to do what? We are going to be able to build the structure of it using our HTML, and then we are going to add the styling of it using our CSS, and then we are going to make it now interactive and more responsive using our JavaScript. What we know how to do best, right? So this structure provides what a simple web interface. This is just a web interface we are building with an input field to enter a number and a button to check whether the number is a prime or it is not a prime. That is just what we are going to do. So let's try to see now see how the interface we are going to go with it. See the div class, what it is going to do for us. Okay, guys, for us to be able to see how we can go. So we jump this code that we are having here. It is going to do what? It is going to display that for us. Now let's run this. We have the div class is just a container and a heading what I'm given that is a prime number checker. Input is just going to take the input from the users and place. So I say enter a number. So you're going to receive a new user on click on that, on click on the this in the check. It is going to call another function that is going to generate to check whether it is a prime number or not, and give us the result. So you call this by the ID and give us the result. So let's run the code and see. This is just the HTML, empty HTML code. So how it's going to look like. So you see it is structured. The structure is excellent. We're just having the prime number checker and the input box that we are having there, which is beautiful because that is what we want to have, isn't it, guys? That is what we want to have. So now the next thing we are going to do now is to input now the CSS. That is what we are going to do, to add the CSS. So I'm just going to include the CSS. I'm adding in the head section because since I already know. Oh, the title. Let's try to give a title. Let's give the title here or leave it. Okay. So now to come now to this, to the style, I'm just going to add it here. I'm adding it in the head section, the styles and an internal CSS. So with this now, the style that I've given here, it is going to do what? So in the body section, what am I doing in this body section? These are just the things I want to occur to for the body section, the effect, the attribute, and the values I'm given. So I'm using the flex. So here I'm using what? I'm in this body section. What is that we're using? We use the flex box to center what? We're going to center what? The content of this. You get it? So you see, I'm giving everything here, everything I'm giving center align, background color, that's what I'm given for everything to go. Because we know we want it to be able to come out clearly. For it to come out clearly, that's what I'm just putting there. And also here, coming out to the container. To the container, what am I doing here? Now, what happened here, you can see, we are using also the flex box, this flex box to be able to do what? To center both the what? Both the horizontal and what horizontally and vertically with a light gray color. You get it that we are giving and no margin. And then the container we have in this container, the container class, which is a white box that we are specifying. You get it? I'm specifying it with a rounded corner padding and a shadow that I'm given to it. You know, everything I'm given to it. And then also for a cut light appearance. Then now coming out to the input. So the input now, what I'm going to give, I'm given in this particular input as I want to set the input. So I'm saying that this is a attribute I'm saying. I want to style this particular input attribute I'm given there. I said it's to style for usability with pattern. You get to the pattern, a defined width that I'm given, and also a light border and a rounded corner. That is what I am given to it. Coming, the next thing now is the button. For the button now, what I'm given to the button, the attribute the styling I'm adding to the button is a green background. A green background, I'm given white text. I'm given a white text and a rounded corner, and with a hover effect for better interaction. That I'm given the hover effect with the cursor pointer that I'm giving. Then coming out to the border hover, to the button hover. Now for the button hover, now I've given now specify what it should take. Then click to the result. The result now you see specifically for this result, I'm saying that I want the margin. You know, I'm displaying the output with a specific output with spacing and a large font size for visibility. You get it? That is what I'm doing. So I'm ending the style. Let's try now to run this particular, run the program now again, only with the CSS and the HTML. Now let's see how it looks like. We run it. So this is what it's giving us now, which is beautiful. But it's giving us like this now. We can be able to get the numbers directly here or add it. But you see, the check function is not able to function because we're not given the JavaScript, right? We can be able to write our thing as we have set everything to check if it's a prime number, but you see or not. But it is not working because we need to add what the functionality of what the JavaScript functionality. This JavaScript now function is going to function check if the number is a prime number. This is what it is going to do. So let's try to add it and let me explain the code.